We have heard that in your own country opium is prohibited with the utmost strictness and severity. This is strong proof that you know full well how hurtful it is to mankind. Since then, you do not permit it to injure your own country. You ought not to have the injurious drug transferred to another country. In the early 1800s, tensions over trade between the two empires came to a head. By the 1820s, the trade imbalance had swung in Britain's favour. More opium was being imported into China than tea, silk, and porcelain was exported to England. In step with their growing free trade policy, the British government let the East India Company's trade monopoly expire in 1834. Private firms could now enter foreign markets. Despite the Qing government's efforts to prohibit trafficking and consumption, use of opium skyrocketed. More drastic measures were required. In 1838, the Imperial Commissioner, Lin Tesu, forced the smugglers to surrender their opium stocks and detained foreign workers in the opium warehouses. The Qing government dumped a stockpile of 21,000 opium chests into the sea. Around this time, a local man, Lin Weisi, was badly beaten in a fight with a drunken British sailor and died the following day. After a legal dispute about who should be held accountable, relations deteriorated further. Foreign traders smuggling opium were pushed out of the ports and had to anchor their ships offshore. Imperial Commissioner Lin used naval patrols, war junks, to deny the smugglers access to food or water from the port. The frustrated British government sent a large naval fleet to settle the issue. Still demanding someone be handed over to pay for the death of Lin Weisi, the Chinese launched a fleet of war junks to counter the British. On the 4th of September 1839, the first shots of the Opium War were fired across the bows of the ships in the standoff. 1840. The British took control of the island of Zhoushan, modern-day Hong Kong. 1842. The British sent another naval fleet to gain control of key coastal cities on the mainland. They took Shanghai and moved up the Yangtze River towards Nanjing. British military might and superior ships, guns and artillery resulted in a one-sided war. The wooden junks were no match for steam-powered, iron-hulled British ships. By August 1842, when Nanjing came under attack, the Qing government surrendered. The Treaty of Nanjing was drawn up to bring an end to hostilities. The key concessions of the treaty were: the island of Hong Kong was to be ceded to Britain. It was not handed back to China until 1997. China was compelled to pay 21 million silver dollars to cover war costs and confiscated opium. 5 ports were to be opened to foreign trade. The Chinese were to lose legal jurisdiction over British citizens in China. And Britain was to hold most favoured nation status, meaning if any other nation got a new privilege from China, Britain received it as well. Interestingly, the treaty's terms make no mention of opium or the opium trade.